The night air over Dodger Stadium was electric. Every seat was filled, every fan on their feet, and every heartbeat synchronized with the final pitch of the season. The Los Angeles Dodgers stood one strike away from glory, from the moment they had been chasing since the first day of spring training. The noise was deafening, the energy thick enough to feel. And then, it happened. A swing, a miss, and a roar that shook the entire city. The Dodgers were the champions once again. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the calm and precise pitcher from Japan who had shouldered the team's hopes, was suddenly at the center of the storm. His teammates sprinted toward him like a blue wave, arms in the air, faces full of disbelief and joy. They tackled him near the mound, surrounding him in a pile of laughter, sweat, and tears. It was the kind of moment that every baseball player dreams of, not just the victory, but the bond, the unity, the sense that all the sacrifice had led to something eternal. The fans refused to sit down. They screamed his name, Yamamoto. Yamamoto, with an accent that mixed both Los Angeles and Tokyo. The connection between cultures, between continents, felt real and alive. The stadium cameras zoomed in as Yamamoto's teammates lifted him high into the night sky, tossing him up and catching him again and again, their arms shaking but their smiles unwavering. The slow-motion footage captured it perfectly. Yamamoto suspended midair, arms wide, as if flying over a sea of blue. Behind him, fireworks burst above the stadium lights, their reflections dancing in the eyes of thousands. The camera panned to fans wiping away tears, hugging strangers, capturing memories on their phones they'd replay for the rest of their lives. This wasn't just a win, it was a story of endurance. The Dodgers had faced their share of setbacks throughout the season. Injuries, slumps, and tough road trips had tested their resolve. But through it all, Yamamoto had remained their anchor. Game after game, he delivered performances that bordered on perfection. His poise on the mound, his focus in the heat of battle, and his ability to silence entire lineups made him the heart of this championship run. Every teammate had their moment, but Yamamoto stood above the rest. His journey from Japan's NPB to the MLB's biggest stage was one of courage and discipline. The adjustment to a new culture, a new ball, a new league, none of it broke his composure. Instead, he seemed to thrive under the bright lights of Los Angeles. And when the team needed him most, he delivered pitches so sharp they seemed to slice through time itself. As he was lifted high once again, the camera caught Mookie Betts laughing uncontrollably, his eyes filled with admiration. Freddie Freeman, the veteran leader, clapped and shouted something only Yamamoto could hear, words of respect, of gratitude. Even the team's younger players stood in awe, watching the quiet man from Japan who had become their hero. The slow-motion replays continued to roll, each frame telling its own story. Sweat glistening under the lights. The dirt kicked up from cleats. The blue confetti swirling like ocean waves in the air. And in the middle of it all, Yamamoto's face, peaceful, humble, overwhelmed by the moment but still carrying that calm dignity that defined him all season. The broadcasters couldn't stop talking about it. "This is history," one of them said. Yamamoto came here not just to pitch, but to prove that greatness knows no borders. And indeed, his performance had united fans across the globe. In Tokyo, it was morning, and people gathered around televisions, crying and cheering as one of their own became immortalized in baseball lore. Back in Los Angeles, the celebrations spilled into the streets. Fans waved flags, honked horns, and shouted until their voices broke. For them, this was more than a championship, it was validation after years of heartbreak, after seasons that ended just short of glory. The Dodgers had finally done it again, and they had done it with style, grace, and emotion. Inside the clubhouse, champagne flew through the air like golden rain. Laughter echoed off the walls as players danced, soaked, and shouted. Yamamoto was pulled into the center once again, drenched in victory and admiration. "You did it, brother," shouted Will Smith, handing him a bottle. But Yamamoto only smiled shyly, bowing slightly before joining in the celebration. Reporters rushed to capture every word, every expression. "How does it feel?" they asked. Yamamoto paused, thinking carefully, his voice quiet but strong. "It feels like a dream," he said. "But I think the dream is real." Those words spread across social media instantly, quoted by fans, replayed in highlight reels, turned into headlines the next morning. The slow-motion replays continued on every major network. The image of Yamamoto being tossed into the air became the symbol of the Dodgers season, a moment that would live in baseball history forever. From every angle, it was perfect. The unity of the team, the emotion of the crowd, the fireworks bursting overhead. As the camera cut to the dugout, manager Dave Roberts stood with tears in his eyes, watching his players celebrate. For him, it was personal. He had guided this team through ups and downs, made tough calls, and carried the weight of expectation year after year. Seeing Yamamoto, his bold offseason signing, deliver the ultimate prize made every sleepless night worth it. Fans outside the stadium chanted long after midnight. The giant video screen replayed the final pitch, the celebration, and the slow-motion lift again and again. Each time, the crowd cheered louder, as if reliving the joy could somehow make it last forever. In Japan, news outlets flooded with headlines. Yamamoto lifts Dodgers to glory, they wrote. Interviews with his family showed tears of pride and disbelief. He always dreamed big, his mother said. But this is bigger than we ever imagined. The streets of Tokyo buzzed with excitement. Baseball fans gathered in public viewing areas, waving blue towels and shouting as if they were at Dodger Stadium themselves. Across oceans, time zones, and languages, Yamamoto's triumph had connected millions. As dawn broke over Los Angeles, the confetti still clung to the field. Workers began clearing the stands, but no one wanted to leave. Some fans stood by the dugout, staring at the mound where history had been made. The sunlight hit the dirt just right, and for a moment, the entire scene looked frozen in time. Later, the team gathered for one final moment on the field. The trophy gleamed under the rising sun. Yamamoto held it close, his teammates surrounding him. This, he said softly, is for everyone who believed. Those words summed up everything: the struggle, the journey, the unity. Baseball, at its best, is not just about statistics or highlights. It's about the emotion that binds people together. It's about moments like this, when a man from halfway across the world becomes the heartbeat of a city. The final replay of the night, or rather, the morning, showed Yamamoto once again lifted into the air. This time, the slow motion was even slower, the lighting softer. The stadium lights faded into the sunrise. The music swelled, and then, as he reached the peak of the toss, the frame froze. Yamamoto, arms spread wide, champion of the world. That single image became the defining symbol of the 2025 baseball season. It represented more than a victory, it represented resilience, unity, and the unshakable belief that hard work and heart can transcend any border. For the Dodgers, it was a night they'd never forget. For the fans, it was a story they'd tell their children. And for Yamamoto, it was the culmination of a lifelong dream. One that started on the fields of Japan and ended beneath the fireworks of Los Angeles. In every replay, in every photograph, one could still see the same emotion. Joy unfiltered, pride uncontained, and the beautiful chaos of victory. The Dodgers had won. The city had erupted. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto had written his name into the golden pages of baseball history forever.